Okay, A Fatal Affair is about this woman who is literally in love with two brothers. But the two brothers, they're twins, okay? They're identical twins. One of the twins, he is like an actor, like a celebrity, and then, he's Hollywood. We'll just say he's Hollywood. The other twin, he like kind of doesn't really have shit going for him at all. But she's in love with the one who like doesn't really do shit, but she's with, like, publicly she's with the celebrity because like she's like an actress too, but like she wants the money, the fame. Okay, so publicly, whatever, but she's fucking both of them. Let's just be real. Well, what she doesn't know is, and the twin brother didn't really know this either, celebrity homeboy over here, he's killing people. Okay, so he's killing people, and then his brother is filling in for his roles. He fills in for his roles. He fills in for if they give interviews, like nobody knows that's him. Well, then, like, the plot twist about all of it was they said that his brother, like on his last kill, his brother had killed himself. But that's not true because Nora over here, she figured it out and she murdered him. And then they're like, what the fuck? But anyways, I don't know. This book, yeah, there were some things that like I wasn't expecting, but I didn't love this book. I would probably give this book like a 3.5. If you read it, let me know down below what you thought about it. This one's a dark romance. Here's the thing. I love dark romance. I love mafia. I love violence. I love vengeance. I love all the things. This one, I've seen a lot of people that were like, oh my God, I love this book so much. I'm going to need you to read it. I did not. It is the Maid series. And here's the thing. I have book 2 and 3, but right now I can't get to those. Okay. Because I'm a little disappointed in this one. I feel like I've read this before. Not the same book, but I feel like I've read a Mafia book before and it was pretty similar to this one, but I'll break it down to you guys. So her sister, God, so they're all like part of the Mafia. Her sister had to get married to this guy and her sister didn't want to. She was in love with a gardener. And so she ended up becoming pregnant. Long story short, her older sister ends up marrying homeboy, but secretly they're obsessed with each other. They just didn't know it, and then they find out that they are, and I mean, that's pretty much how it ended. Like, I was waiting for more oomph. I mean, sure, there was like people that died, and he's like, you're mine, and he's protective, and he sounds hot, and all the things, and like checks off the list. But like, I wasn't ready for like a happily ever after, like a fairy tale. I was ready for violence. And this book just did not give it to me. If you read this book, can you please let me know what you thought about it? I need to know. Like, did you love it? What did you rate it? Because I feel like I need to rate this like a 2. I feel like I've read this somewhere in another book, but it was like way better. I wanted to love it. I did. I even have the regular copy of it too. Imagine. Of course I would do something like that. Okay, let me know. Okay, remember in the last video I was like, what was this ask for Andrea? And then it clicked with me. Okay, because here's the thing. I always read books out of order. Like, if this wasn't a series, they're standalones, okay? But you should definitely read Forget You Saw before you read Ask for Andrea. So then you kind of know, like, what the fuck. So anyways, okay, so in this book, a mom gave her daughter up for adoption. Okay, she got pregnant like really young. Her parents kind of told her like, oh, it'll be best for the kid, blah, 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 blah. So she does the whole thing. Well, then later on, like 17 years later, she gets a phone call and they're like, hey, from a detective, like, hey, we need your DNA to basically see if this person is your daughter that we can't identify. And so she's like, what? So she gives it, then finds out like it's not the DNA. So she's like, she goes anyway. I forget where the hell she was and where the hell she went. I think it's like Oregon or some shit. I don't remember. But anyway, so she goes to wherever the hell her daughter like last was, because now she's like, I want to find my daughter because there's a missing persons out for my daughter. And also like, who's this corpse that's in there, right? So she's on a mission to find this shit out. Well, while she's on this damn mission, okay, the ghost over here, because her daughter is in fact dead, but she doesn't know it yet. And then there's this other girl that's dead, and it's by the same guy. Like this creepy guy. It ended up being her stepdad. Because her parents were creepy. Yes, they were, the ones that adopted her. And she's like, oh my God. So she finds all this out. And then she's like, boo-hoo-hoo, crying because she thought that, like, obviously she's giving her daughter a better life. Turns out it was hell. It was hell. So she's on a mission. She almost dies. I'm telling you, these books, I needed a palate cleanser. Because you know what? I'm more about like the dark mafia romance and all that bullshit. But I'm just telling you right now, this was a good palate cleanser. But make sure that you read this one first, Forget You Saw, before you read Ask Andrea, because Andrea was her daughter. And that's where the sign came from in the bathroom. I know. You're welcome. You're welcome for that information. Ask for Andrea. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed it, except for the only thing was I was a little bit confused about the Ask for Andrea sign. And then I realized that there was another book. I'm going to do a review on that because then I was like, oh, a light bulb. I know where that sign came from. So anyway, so Ask for Andrea is about this, this psycho guy. And he like does the dating app thing. Is that what this one's about? Okay, so there's these 3 girls. I was like, what was this about? Anyways, there's these 3 girls, and they were all schmurdered, okay, by homeboy over here. They were schmurdered. So what he would do is he'd get on this app, this dating app, and then he would just whoop them. Well, guess what? Got away with it for a while. Sure did. He got away for a bit. So then these 3 girls, they were now ghosts. And so they're like, how are we going to stop this? How are we going to stop this? And so they were like trying to stop them and like do all this shit and like let everybody know to figure out like what the fuck was going on up in this bitch. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, do you want me to ruin it for you? I guess I could, but I won't. Okay, maybe I will. He did get caught. He did get caught. Actually, yeah, he got caught. You're welcome. Okay, so now we're on book 2, and bitch done ran off, okay? The light queen, she done ran off. Months have went by. Freaking the shadow dude over there, homeboy, he's done wrecking everything, okay? He's wrecking all these towns trying to find her. People are convinced that she's dead. She ain't dead. Well, guess what? The fairy, who's my favorite, man, that bitch is such a wit. She's my favorite in this book. Like, she needs her own book. If you are the writer, I'm going to need you to make Banu her own book, okay? Because that's what I wanted to know about. Anyways, so she runs off or whatever. He's trying to find her. Banu finds her. Her brother finds her. Finally, Shadow Dude finds her. And he's basically dying. Like, he's dying at this point because the magic is undone. And so they end up making a deal with his father, who's like, creeps her. You know what? The other thing was, these books were a little disturbing, honestly. Like, the monsters in this book, and the shit that happens, and, like, all the teeth and whatever. I mean, it honestly kind of creeped me out a little bit. Like, you got something wrong with your head. And I kind of love it. Whoever came up with the character of Banu and wrote about her, I love that part. The creatures freaked out. Okay, so where was that? Oh, yeah, so then they make a deal with homeboy, and that, I don't know, to do whatever, right? To undo this stupid, because he has a curse, okay? The shadow guy has a curse from his dad. Or actually, the curse was from his brother, and then he killed his brother, and then his dad was like, well, too bad, you're going to keep the curse. And so it, like, turns him into, like, this bigger monster type of thing. Anyways, get this one. Okay, so he finds out that she's pregnant. And Banu, Banu takes a knife right to her stomach. Oh, yeah. That's how book 2 ended. What is happening, Banu? You know, here's the thing. I am not a fairy tale fantasy. Get it together. Okay, I'm not really a fantasy person. I did read this book, Crown of Light and Ashes. And okay, first of all, can we just say that the fairy in this book, Banu, is that how you pronounce it? Banu, I think it is. Anyways, okay, she's my favorite in the whole series. Okay, she's my favorite. So we start off with homegirl over here, her brother. Okay, they all have magic. Okay, there's shadow magic, light magic, whatever. So her brother, he ends up accidentally killing somebody at this damn meeting, okay? And so the Shadow Lord dude, he's like, nay, we're gonna literally kill you now for doing that because that's just how it goes, right? You off somebody, you're getting off. And so her dad's like, please, no, don't do it. And she's like, please, no, his sister. So then he's like, I have an idea, light bulb, I'm gonna marry the daughter now. So she's going to become the queen, and she's of the light, right? And he's the shadow. So then they get bound by love, and she's basically like, how the fuck am I going to get out of here? You know what I'm saying? She's like, how am I going to get out of here? So then, long story short, in this long-ass book, she's like, runs off, okay? She escapes. She has this magic potion. Could you imagine? Magic potion. She has this magic potion, and the magic potion is basically, it undoes the magic. That's what it does. So she drinks it, gulp, gulp. Book ends, but guess what? She lost her memory! Oh, and she was pregnant. She just found out that she was pregnant, and then she didn't tell him, and so they were going to have like a prophecy baby. And so she didn't tell him, but she ran off, and then she drank this potion. Now she has no memory of anything, and then we go on to book 2. I know! Hateful Vows is part of a series. Did I finish the series? No! Spirit did not finish the series because I got sidetracked reading other shit. I did take notes, okay? I did take notes. But I feel like if I didn't finish the series, because I am pretty good about reading the series, even if I don't 100% like it, I must have been bored, okay? So let's go on this journey of Hateful Vows. Ren and Briggs, they meet in college. Well, guess what? Her mom was known as a slut, apparently. His dad is like big in the Mafia or some shit, right? Well, I guess she was known as a slut, the mom was. And she was screwing his dad. Well, then they blamed it like saying that his mom committed you know what because she had found out about this affair. Well, anyways, Ren's mom ends up getting pregnant by homeboy's dad. And they made a deal that if she would terminate, then she would get to basically go to college for free. Like her other daughter would get to go to college for free. So that's how they met in college. Well, then they find out all this bullshit. And then his dad. Okay, so then Ren and Briggs, then they start dating. Well, at first she was like being bullied by him. But then they start dating. You know how these books go. So then they start dating. Well, then his dad, Briggs' dad, tries killing her. She's like getting all these notes and all this shit. He tries killing her. Well, guess what? They end up his dad. And then, you know what? That's pretty much all that happened. That's all that I can remember that happened. Am I going to read the next one? I don't know. Let me know if it's worth it down in the comments because I don't know. Is this chair getting on my nerves because it fucking squeaks? Yes! It is. Okay, anyways, if you want to be friends and you read books, let me know. Okay, we're on book 3. So the husband chooses the wife to live. So they lose the prophecy baby. Okay? Prophecy baby. God! Did I mention that these books are long as shit? I feel like they are so drug out. But whatever. To each their own. I read them, okay? Chooses the wife. She's pissed off. And she's like, hell no, I can't believe that you choose me over the baby. Well, then they find out that Banu was, well, okay, here's the thing. Technically, Banu, the fairy, was the one to put a knife in her, but it wasn't Banu. It was like some magic shit that like made it look like Banu, act like Banu, but it wasn't really Banu. And now Banu is over in some damn other dimension. I don't know. And so now they're like trying to find her and save her and all this shit is going on and it's like a whole thing. And I'm telling you, if you go over to that world over there, hell no. I mean, the shit that they were talking about in the book about like 17 arms coming out with teeth. Like, I was scared. I don't do scary movies. I was scared. Yes, I was scared. Okay. Well, anyway, so then they get Banu. That's basically, it's like suck the life out of her. Do. And also, this is what I want to know. I'm not really sure, like, what the fuck is even happening, because at the end of the book, they get, like, remarried. She's bound to somebody else. She's bound to, I don't know, this other guy and this other magic. There was so much going on. It was hard to keep up with. And in this fucking pea brain over here, I was like, I don't know what's happening, but there's so much. Everybody's bound to everybody at this point. And honestly, it ended with she was pregnant again. But, like, that's how the book ended, and I can't find the fourth one. Like, am I dumb? Is there a fourth book? Did I miss it? Has it not came out yet? I don't understand, but this book definitely rage baited me. It did. You know what? Here's the thing. I did like it for fantasy, whatever, sure, I get it, but I don't like when I don't know how something ends, and this book was never ending, and it still hasn't ended. Like, are you still writing it? Can you let me know? Because I have a thing where I just start reading series and then there's no fucking ending because the book isn't out yet. So that's where I'm at. Okay. Book 3, Restitution. Bitch, this book, it's pretty long, okay? So book 2 ended with Stacy and Cade's sister being sold, all right? So it starts off, she's in the room and she's like, hell no. The guy comes in there who bought her. Guess who it is? Guess who it is? Cade's dad. It's now Cade's dad that's there, and he's like, bitch, we got to get you the hell up out of here. So he breaks her out of there, all right? He breaks her out of there, and keep in mind, he's on the run because he broke out of prison. So he breaks her the hell up out of there. Cade's sister, the person that bought her was just somebody that's like related to them, let's just say, okay? So she gets broken out by him, and I think it was Cade's right-hand man that had bought her. Anyway, so they're like safe and sound. So now they're all at like this safe house that like they already had set up, whatever. So now they're trying to figure out how to save Cade because Cade is stuck with that fucking psycho bitch, okay? And he's been locked up with his best friend who's the Russian Mafia dude, remember, that was dating or in love with Cade's sister. So Russian Mafia dude, his grandfather makes a deal to get him out of there, so he gets out of there, all right? So he gets out of there, and he goes back to them or whatever. They sold, like, I think they made a deal for, like, I don't know, $200,000 or $400,000 or something. I'm not sure. So anyway, so Cade's still stuck there, and he's like, how the hell am I going to get out of here? Don't worry, because he gets an order from Psycho Bitch, and she's like, you have to make a choice. You can either kill your dad, Stacy, or his best friend. And he doesn't have a choice because if he doesn't do it, then they're all gonna die. So he makes the choice that he's gonna kill Stacy, but really he just wants to like get to her and tell him and blah 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 and this whole thing. Well, he gets to her or whatever and kind of scares her off, and he sets up this whole thing so that when they do meet up, he gives her a place to meet up like later on, and bitch, he ends up the fucking, they have, I don't even know, there's so much going on in this book, but he ends up fucking shooting their daughter that he wanted to marry right in the fucking forehead, like right between the damn eyes, because he was so sick of her shit, didn't care about the consequences. But at this point, like, he was so fucked up because of all the DRUGS that they had him on. Like, he would withdraw really bad and all this shit. So finally, after he did that, then they get him. And then they're, like, trying to come up with a plan on how to get rid of her. So they had his husband. They had her husband. Okay, psycho bitch. So they had that psycho bitch, his husband. And, bitch, when I tell you that Cade done went on live stream with him on their execution, put a motherfucking grenade right in his mouth, told everything that happened, okay? Everything they did. He had all the files released. His older brother got shot by the stupid bitch, so he didn't care anymore. And live stream this shit. Like, he had it, like, aired on all around the world. So then you can only imagine. But don't you worry. Don't you worry, because that bitch, they thought that his dad, Tobias, which is Cade's dad, they thought that he was dead. Because he had, like, made a deal to go with her, so they thought, like, he was dead and shit. He got that evil bitch, and he been hiding her away for like a month. Came and got Cade, and then Stacy. When I tell you, and the Russian mafia guy, bitch, they tortured her, and not only that, but they had her eat her husband, and she didn't even know it. Before they offed her. Yep. And then Kate, anyways, I don't know if I want to tell, well, okay, actually, I'll tell you. If you don't want me to ruin it, even though I've already ruined it some more. Cade did have to do prison time. They all still think that his dad is dead. Cade had to do prison time, and then he got out of prison, and they're kind of like just living their life now. And they had kids, and I was really sad. For me, it's gonna take a lot for something to beat this series for me. I know that these videos were longer, but I'm telling you guys, you gotta read these series. If you've read it, comment below and let me know what you thought about this book. Okay, so now we're on book 2. And like I said, if you didn't see my first video, because this is book 2, if you didn't see my first video, I need to do that, because this is a 5-star series for me, and I just can't get enough of it. So in book 1, it ended with Cade putting Stacy on a private plane. And now he really is stuck with the police, like the man of the woman of head of the police station or whatever, the police force bullshit, okay? Because she's like underground and all these people, and she's like a bad bitch. And her husband are sick as fuck. So now Cade, she's like, hell no, now you can't do shit. And goes to another country with him where he gets tortured even more, beat even more. She put his dad now in solitary confinement because of his actions. And she's like, if you want him out of solitary confinement and you don't want anything happening to your family, basically, you have to marry my daughter. And he's like, fuck no, I'm not marrying your daughter, okay? Well, in the meantime, Stacy, she's stuck with her damn stepbrother, and of course it's like worse than it ever has been. Well, then they go to this bar, okay? They go to this bar, which is like you know what kind of bar I'm talking about. And so the same guys are there that Chris had, shit happened to her, okay? And so they're like, I'll pay you X amount for blah, 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 blah. So Chris, of course, gives in. And he's a psychopath, and he's obsessed. So her stepbrother, don't forget, is obsessed with her. Thinks that he owns her, controls her, whatever. So while she's in the room with them, she's drugged once again, and then they have her on a pole dancing. And so they're like, well, what song do you want? So she puts on the song that's literally the song between her and Cade, because she saw Cade at the bar, okay? So Cade hears it, and he's like, what the fuck? And keep in mind, at this point, like, he's all fucked up too. Well, his right-hand man is like, yeah, it's her, but you can't go to her, and blah, 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 and kind of updates him. And so, anyway, so she has to go to a room with all these guys, okay? And Chris gives her a blade. So when Cade and his right-hand man get to the room, she had already got rid of the guys. They're gone, see ya. She's in shock. And so Cade tells his right-hand man, like, you got to take her out of here. Take her to my mom's house. Well, she'll be safe, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, they're now Cade's, like, finding out, like, the real story and about Chris. And then they're like, find Chris because he's a dead man, blah, 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 blah. Well, what happens is, the way that this book ends is she ends up with Chris again, and they make a deal. Okay, so she makes a deal or whatever, and she now is changing her identity and all this shit. Okay, so she's changing her identity. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So she's changing her identity. She's moving to America. Well, the psycho bitch finds out. They find her. Chris also finds her because he had hacked into the bitch's system. So Chris goes to the house, which is his right man, Cade's right-hand man's house. And Chris sees her and he's like, hell no, we got to get you the fuck up out of here. She's found you and they're coming to, you know, they're coming after you. They're coming to kill you, whatever. So he gets her out of there, whatever. Well, then he makes a deal with the bitch. And so she's, for all of her or all the files that he has on her to expose her, right? So she's like, okay, but I want Stacy to show up and she's going to have the hard drive, blah, 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 blah. So Stacy's walking into the fucking building. He's not allowed to go in there, of course. And she's like, this is a bad idea. And so Cade's sister is there and she's like, what are you doing here? And then she's like, well, her little boyfriend, who's a Russian mafia guy, wanted her there. And she's like, oh my God, it's a setup, whatever. Anyways, they go into the room, find out they're selling them. So they have no choice. It's a complete setup. Now they get sold for SEX. And they have to go down into like a 5-day holding room because it's like a new buyer or some shit. So the way that the book ends is she's like, can't even believe it, can't do anything. She's now stuck in this room and she's just been sold. Oh, and Cade's dad broke out of prison. Yep, he sure did. Okay, now we go on to book 3. If you've read this book, comment below and let me know. I know this video is long, so if you stayed this long, I appreciate it. Okay, you guys. When I tell you, I had to get the physical form of this trilogy. So the Edge of Darkness trilogy, let me just tell you what, I love this series so much. If you haven't read it, I need you to do it. Okay, so the first book, if you don't want me to spoil it for you, then you probably shouldn't watch. So the first book, Insatiable. Okay, so there's Cade and Stacy. Cade and Stacy, they're lovers since they were young, okay? Like 18 years old, but like they met like when they went to school together and all things, okay? But that's besides the point, okay? So they're in love, whatever. And then she has a stepbrother that thinks that she's his, but nobody knows, okay? So Chris, stepbrother, he does all kinds of shit to her if she doesn't do what he wants, all right? Stick with me. She's in love with Cade. Cade's obsessed with her, like obsessed. Cade's dad is in prison because he's a serial killer and like actually like a psychopath, okay? And Cade's dad is obsessed with his mom. So like obsessed, like actually like there's a problem with it, all right? So, and Cade's always been worried that he would be like his dad, but whatever, okay? So we're back. So back to book 1. So Cade and Stacy, they become pregnant. And she would like always have these bruises and shit. And she was a dancer. She would always have these bruises. She was best friends with Cade's twin sister. That's like how they had met. And so she would always have like all these bruises and shit. But she would say like, oh, she fell down the stairs, whatever, whatever. Well, she ends up losing their baby. And she was like, I'm so sorry, crying, this, that, whatever else. Like, I fell down the stairs. Well, when Chris is the one who got rid of it, by the way. He's the one who literally beat the shit out of her so bad that she lost the baby. And he sets it up to where he drugs her. And he has all these guys, you know, do shit to her, videos that shit. He drugs Cade's older brother and makes them have sex together. And then only clips the video and sends it to Cade to where, like, Cade thinks that she cheated on him. Okay? And then Cade's brother, he sets it up, sends it to his fiance. So he loses his fiance. Cade tells Stacy to basically get the fuck out of my damn life. And so they didn't talk. They have not talked or anything for 2 years. Well, when that had happened, he was like, you know what? His dad talked to him, was like, you know what? Maybe you can like talk to her and get her side of the story. He went to go do that, but she wasn't at the dance studio. So the way that the book ends is there's this woman that comes to him who's like head of the police department. And so she tells him, she's like, hey, basically I can help you out with your father who's in prison for life, blah, 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 blah. But basically like you have to work for me kind of thing. But he didn't realize what it was entailed. So once he like left with her, went to her house, then he realized, oh, fuck, he's stuck there. And so now she makes him Like, she basically trains him and makes it, like, turns him into an actual serial killer himself. And then she also makes him go and have sex with people that pay for it, like this whole thing. So that's how this book ends. And then you literally, this is what you say to yourself. You're like, oh my God, I need to get to book 2. So I'll do the review on book 2 in the next video. If you read this, comment down below and let me know.